Manu Sharma also spoke to Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal on the interim budget presented today. Listen into that conversation.
We are joined by the Union Minister for Commerce and Industry, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution and Textiles, Mr. Piyush Goyal. Sir, thanks for speaking with CNBC-TV18. Though it's an interim budget, of course, many announcements, many data points have been highlighted by the Finance Minister. Your first take on the budget?
I think it's remarkable that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharamanji have been able to demonstrate their care and concern for the poor, their desire to see a developed India on the back of 140 crore Indians' work, Sabka Prayas, and do all of this within fiscal prudence, keeping the macroeconomic parameters extremely stable and strong. I think it's a remarkable budget, very progressive, very forward-looking, full of hope to meet the aspirations of young India, new India, and a very comprehensive budget touching upon different sectors of society, touching upon a better future for the poor, opportunities for our youth, women-led development, and increased incomes of the farmers. So every segment of society have been addressed in this budget, interim budget. Madam Sitharamanji spoke about transforming India through reforms and through very aggressive performance to make sure that the fruits of development reach the last man at the bottom of the corridor. We see inclusive and sustainable development.
The FM also spoke about the fact that FDI into India has increased in the past 9 years to the extent that it's double than the preceding 9 years. How do you see this momentum sustaining since we are seeing global uncertainties? There are several geopolitical reasons as well as inflationary concerns in the West. What is the rearguard action being planned by the government in this regard?
Well, very clearly, foreign direct investment has been on an upswing almost since the time Mr. Modi came in. And a lot of it is to do with trust, the fact that today the world looks upon India as a trusted partner, as a friend where they would like to work and expand more. And Prime Minister Modi has been able to give confidence of a decisive, honest leader who has devoted his entire life for the welfare and for the better future of 140 crore Indians. Having said that, I think it's important to note that the country today stands on the cusp of rapid growth and development. Fiscal prudence has prevailed. Even our last year's fiscal deficit target has not only been maintained but bettered. From 5.9, we'll actually end up with 5.8%. This year it is expected to come down to 5.1% and next year go down to 4.5%. This shows that most of the money that we are borrowing is going in for development of infrastructure. 11,000 crores being given for infrastructure development is truly phenomenal. And I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that this budget, based on strong macroeconomic fundamentals that we've been able to achieve over the last 10 years, will be a budget for all, and a budget for laying the foundation of a developed India by 2047.
The FM spoke about the spirit of first develop India. Now, even as India is looking at not just self-sufficiency but also export competitiveness in several domains, is there any policy measure or any larger government plan for duty rationalization across several segments as India wants to become more globally competitive? We are also negotiating several bilateral investment treaties and FTAs.
Well, if you will note that this has been a very dynamic government. It's always been proactive in its approach. It's always been ahead of the curve to meet the challenges of the day. In fact, only yesterday we were seeing vaccine wars, and it shows that this is a Prime Minister who has always seen and been ahead of his peers. When the world was grappling about what to do with COVID pandemic, the Honorable Prime Minister was already figuring out that science will find the way out of the vaccine of the COVID pandemic. And clearly, even in the deft handling of the economy, we have seen a similar trend. He has focused largely on strong macroeconomic fundamentals. He has focused on providing opportunities for the youth, providing women-led development as the mantra for the future, ensuring that farmers get a better deal going forward. And the sub-theme, subtext of all his work and the roadmap towards Viksit Bharat is on the strength of making sure that just like in the last 10 years, we have removed 25 crore people from multidimensional poverty. Even in the years in the future, our government will be focused for the welfare and a better future for every poor, every middle-class family in this country.
There has been an extension of benefits, not just in tax, but in several other areas till March 2025. Now, speaking of tax benefits particularly, there have been exemptions and relaxations for sovereign wealth funds. How is that going to benefit Indian companies, particularly startups, in the short to medium term?
Well, we've seen significant traction in foreign direct investment. Current year, of course, because of geopolitical situation or rising interest rates in developed world, we've seen a little bit of slowing down of FDI in the short run. But clearly, the India opportunity is so compelling. The 3Ds, the demography, the democracy and diversity that India offers, leading to increased demand, is such a compelling case that foreign direct investment is going to find opportunities in India. We're doing a number of free trade agreements. We're doing a number of bilateral investment treaties which will further give an impetus to international trade and investments into the country.
Well, that is the Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal in conversation with